सेव किया था ना?
मैं सिर्फ इसलिए गया था क्योंकि उसने मुझे कॉल किया, that's it. But listen तो.
Save it for someone else.
जिंदगी में सेव करना जरूरी है, मगर जब बात पैसों की हो, सिर्फ सेविंग से काम नहीं चलेगा। इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए और अपने सेविंग्स को आगे बढ़ने का मौका दीजिए।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
In the course of our previous episode of Cut The Clutter, that was featuring Mukhtar Ansari and his clan, we had promised you one more episode. So here it is. And this is the story of Brijesh Singh. So one thing, first of all, we must remember, because I find that in our country at this time, at this point, or in fact at any point, this point may be a bit more pronounced, everything is polarized, including crime and mafia activity. So somehow there is a celebration on one side on what's happened to Atiq Ahmed, what might happen to Mukhtar Ansari, because he's been convicted already in 2 cases for 10 plus 7 years of jail, and he has more cases coming up. And there's also an impression that this is somehow a Muslim exclusive activity, the mafia activity. So while Atiq clan and Ansari clan have become the most prominent, but there are others also, and at least one of them is no less prominent. That is Brijesh Singh. The interesting thing is that all 3 of them, Atiq Ahmed, Mukhtar Ansari and Brijesh Singh, are of about the same vintage. So one born in 1962, that is Ansari, one 1963, Atiq, and then Brijesh Singh in 1964. Now Atiq has been a little bit away from these two in his own domain in Prayagraj or what used to be Allahabad. These two have been in eastern UP, in Ghazipur and areas around that, and have been rivals in rival gangs, have carried out hits on each other's people, and their careers, if I can call them careers, have run sort of in a parallel manner. So the only difference is that while Atiq Ahmed, his brother, his son, they've been put away one way or the other. You've seen how. Mukhtar Ansari has been convicted in 2 cases for 10 plus 7 years of jail and is facing court orders in some of the others, including one on 29th of April, very soon, just a few days from now. The third one, the third of the contemporaries, Brijesh Singh, has found freedom, even if it's the freedom of conditional bail. So the one-judge bench of Justice Arvind Kumar Mishra of Allahabad High Court gave him bail, conditional bail on 4th of August 2022. Now, what is the case in which he was in jail for nearly 13 years, in fact more than 13 years, almost 14 years? He had been in jail for the failed assassination attempt on who else but Mukhtar Ansari. That's the case we had told you about in our previous episode on the Ansari clan. That is what in UP's history of crime is called the Usri Chatti case. Usri Chatti is the name of the village where that attempted hit was carried out, where Brijesh Singh's people allegedly, I have to use allegedly everywhere because he's not convicted in that case. That case is on. He was in jail in that case, and he has now been bailed out because trial's gone on for 13, 14 years. So the judge has taken the view that trial's going on forever. So maybe he deserves at least the freedom of conditional bail. So he apparently or allegedly had planned that hit, and we had explained that incident to you in some detail yesterday. Just to help you recapitulate and also to tell you more details, I will go back to that incident. That was the incident on 15th July 2001. By the way, that was 16 years after Brijesh Singh had been named in his first alleged murder. I have to keep using this alleged all the time. If you make a transcript of this and you Googled it, you will find the word alleged God knows how many times. But if I read up on this history in Hindi media, so many Hindi YouTube channels, I find nobody bothers using the word alleged. Everything is like it actually happened and people are eyewitnesses, and looks like nobody has complained about it, right? None of the gangsters or alleged gangsters have even complained about it. But you know what? I'm old-fashioned. I'll follow the rules of old-fashioned journalism. So innocent until proven guilty. But even with all the allegedlys, each one of these becomes quite a story. So 15 July 2001 is when he tried to carry out that hit at Usri Chatti village. What had happened was the hit was planned just as the vehicles were to approach, or Mukhtar Ansari's vehicle with his escort vehicle, they were to approach a railway crossing. right? The idea was that the vehicles will slow down, and then Brijesh Singh's alleged people, or allegedly Brijesh Singh's gang members, were there in two vehicles. One will be in front, one will be behind, and those shooters will come out of those vehicles, including Brijesh Singh, and they will fire and kill Mukhtar Ansari. Why they became enemies, I'll tell you about in a minute. What happened, as luck would have it, just as they were stopping Mukhtar Ansari's car and to surround it from both sides, or from front and behind and from the sides, so that he will not have the time to fight back, the railway crossing closed, the gates closed, and one car was stuck on the other side. One car had not been able to fetch up. One of the assassins' car had not been able to fetch up. So that gave Mukhtar Ansari and his people time to gather their wits. They came out, they started firing. So some of them got killed. I think two of them got killed. One of Brijesh Singh's people got killed, and there it was widely believed that Brijesh Singh also got injured. And for quite some time, it was believed that he did not survive that encounter, an ambush that he had set up, that he became a victim of the same ambush. But that wasn't quite true. Like the proverbial cat, people who do this kind of activity also have 9 lives, in some cases even more. So Brijesh Singh, after some time, came out alive, and his legend, if anything, grew after that. But he had figured by then, I'm leapfrogging a little bit forward, and I will then somersault backwards. So hang on, fasten your seatbelts. So at this point, Brijesh Singh realized that if he had to continue with his business, the Ansari clan and gang was becoming so strong that he had to also find political support. So the political support he looked for, because Ansari was always with the other side, that is the anti-BJP side of politics there, he looked for the BJP side. So he made an alliance with Krishnanand Rai. Krishnanand Rai, as you know, was the BJP leader who in 2002 in Mohammadabad constituency defeated Mukhtar Ansari's brother, Afzal Ansari, who by the way is now the Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha, from Ghazipur, having defeated Manoj Sinha, who is now the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir. So he defeated him. That itself did not endear him to Mukhtar Ansari and the Ansari clan. Then it turned out that he was supposedly patronizing Brijesh Singh and his gang and helping them get contract. And that is what made that enmity even deeper and stronger. And that is what ultimately also led to the assassination of Krishnanand Rai that we spoke about in great detail in our episode number 1214. I will give you a link again. You can watch that. That was on the Ansari clan. So Ansaris and Brijesh Singh have been at odds since then. I told you I'm leapfrogging forwards, and now I will somersault backwards. When we go backwards, we are trying to figure out how did Brijesh Singh join the quote-unquote business that he did. We had some idea how Mukhtar Ansari did it. We have some idea how Atiq Ahmed did it. But how did Brijesh Singh do it? So around time, Brijesh Singh and Mukhtar Ansari was growing up in the same area. I told you one is 1962 born, one is 64 born, one is 63 born. They are almost exactly contemporaries. They could have been in the same school or the same college. So they are as close in terms of age. So just as they were growing up, they were barely getting out of their teens. This area, which today is so lawless, so you can imagine what it was like 40 years ago. So then this area had two big gangs, and these were rival gangs. One was the Majnu Singh gang and one was the Sahib Singh gang. Both those gangs were Hindu-led gangs. Majnu Singh gang and Sahib Singh gang. Just as there was a rivalry there between Majnu Singh gang and Sahib Singh gang, around the same time in Mumbai, also there were rivalries. Now, those were much better armed underworlds there, but they were in a city. It's not so easy to hide in a city or to hide your crimes in a city. You still have some spotlight. These guys were in the most backward rural parts of eastern UP, but at that point, their exact contemporaries in Mumbai or Bombay then were Dawood Ibrahim and Arun Gavli. Now, I'm mentioning this because this is relevant to the Brijesh Singh story, and I will come to that. 1984, Brijesh Singh apparently had passed his class 12 with very good marks already, and by this time, by 1984, he was doing his BSc at a college and was seen to be quite a bright student. It was at that time when he was about 20, maybe 19 or 20. As we told you, he was born in 1964 in November. So maybe he was about in 1984. That's when his father was assassinated by a bunch of people on 27th January 1984. As his father was assassinated, he left college because he had to take revenge. And what do you do when you want to take revenge? You go hunting for a gang that will help you, that will give you weapons. Because in those parts, even now, if you see what's happening in all these cases, you can imagine people not having so much faith in the police and so much faith in the system, particularly the judicial system. So you want to settle your scores right now. You want instant justice. So Brijesh Singh, again, I have to use many allegedly, but the fact is that the alleged murderer of his father was a man called Panchu Singh. So within a year of his father's murder, in fact, just about a year from his father's murder, the father of the assassin, the father of his father's assassin, Panchu Singh's father, Harihar Singh, was shot dead. And once again, the charge was that allegedly Brijesh Singh had done it. After that, this did not end there because Panchu Singh and Harihar Singh were not acting by themselves. They also had a group of people helping them. So they had allegedly the Gram Pradhan of their village, Raghunath, who was then killed. He was assassinated in a courtroom with an AK-47. That in 1985, that may have been the first time in Uttar Pradesh that an AK-47 was used in a crime. Of course, Punjab by that time with Sikh militancy had gotten used to AK-47s, but this was the first use of AK-47 in an underworld hit. Shortly after that, another key figure in that gang, the gang which had killed Brijesh Singh's father, I have to keep repeating, that man was the former Gram Pradhan of the village headman of the village, Chandra Yadav. At night, he was assassinated also with an AK-47 with 6 others. And in that group killing, that mass killing, 6 plus Ramchandra Yadav himself, 4 of those who were killed, 4 of those who were killed were children in their sleep. They were killed, but one was spared. Who was spared? Ramchandra Yadav's wife was spared. The widow was spared. Why? So she could tell the whole world about what happened. That would do two things. One, it would tell everybody in the neighborhood that Brijesh Singh's father's assassination had been avenged and avenged in kind. So in future, don't take pangas with us. But second also, this was to grow the fear of Brijesh Singh and his group of people there. And that's how that legend began to grow. It seems that in some of those firing incidents, Brijesh Singh also got an injury, but it was nothing too serious to impede him from his future pursuits going ahead. When he was looking for friendships and he was looking for partnerships and comradeship, because he now was up against powerful gangs himself, he found the friendship of a man called Tribun Singh. Tribun Singh at that point was in the Sahib Singh gang, which, as I told you, was the rival of Majnu Singh gang. Tribun Singh had his own problems in life. He was carrying his own chips on his shoulders or boulders on his shoulder. Why? Because some of his family members had been assassinated and he thought that they had been assassinated by members of the Majnu Singh gang, to which the Ansari clan belonged then. So he had to take revenge. Just as Brijesh Singh had to take revenge on the killers of his father, Tribun Singh had to take revenge on the killers of his own family members. So one of Tribun Singh's family members who had been killed was a cop. His name was Rajendra Singh. And again, it was believed that he was killed by somebody from the Majnu gang or the Ansari gang, Majnu/Ansari gang. So the man there who was supposed to have pulled the trigger on his brother was Sadhu Singh. Sadhu Singh was assassinated by this group now, which apparently or allegedly had Tribun Singh and Brijesh Singh together in a hospital. So that was the next big hit. After that, it looked like Brijesh Singh went in another direction. I told you, I warned you, I was leapfrogging forwards to 2005 to the assassination of Krishnanand Rai, and I am also now somersaulting backwards. So after these incidents, when it looked like there was too much attention on Brijesh Singh, it seems that he escaped to Mumbai. And again, the charges against him are, and some of these charges, on some of these charges, he's been acquitted in courts. Subsequently, I have to mention that, and I will mention this in a bit more detail as we go along. He allegedly or apparently joined the Dawood Ibrahim gang, where he was reckoned to be among the sharpest shooter. So it was in 1992, in fact on 12th of September 1992, that the famous JJ Hospital shooting took place, or JJ Hospital shootout took place in Mumbai. This was the heyday of the underworld in Mumbai, and this is when Arun Gavli and Dawood Ibrahim were fighting each other, and there were lots of gangland killings. Each side was killing the other's people. It was at that time that Dawood Ibrahim's brother-in-law Iqbal Kaskar had been killed, apparently by Arun Gavli's people, and one of those killers was recovering in JJ Hospital, which is Mumbai's biggest government hospital. It was in that hospital that allegedly Brijesh Singh, the two of Dawood's people, one of them allegedly Brijesh Singh, went in wearing doctor's overalls with AK-47s and carried out the first such hit in Mumbai, and that too in a hospital. They killed the Gavli shooter who was supposed to have killed Dawood Ibrahim's brother-in-law. The shooter's name was Shailesh Haldhankar. They also killed 3 policemen, including 2 head constables who were on duty for his protection, and 2 other people. So 6 people were killed. These people got away. Later they were put on trial. In 2008, they were acquitted. So 2008, Brijesh Singh was acquitted in that case. Why? For want of witnesses and evidence. That is the story of all these cases. I told you about the Krishnanand Rai murder case also, where the judge acquitted Mukhtar Ansari and his brother, and the comments the judge made ruining the fact that so many witnesses had turned hostile. Apparently, some similar thing happened in this case as well. Now, lots of interesting things happened at the same time. Now, around 2007, 8, 9, Brijesh Singh escaped from Uttar Pradesh. He escaped because he figured that life had become too difficult, that the going was too tough, particularly in UP itself. At that point, Mayawati had come into power, and she wasn't particularly friendly to either gangsters who were seen to be close to the BJP or close to Samajwadi Party. So he disappeared from there, took a new identity. So he became Arun Singh. That's why if you Google Brijesh Singh Dawn, you might find an entry, or most entries saying Brijesh Singh alias, also known as Arun Singh. So he went to Bhubaneswar, set up a business of his own, and became Arun Singh. There he was hiding. UP police was not able to find him until 2009, when the ATS of Delhi police caught him there. They caught him there and they brought him to Delhi. Now, UP police has a theory about that. UP police says that they had found out that he was there, and they were prepared to go and catch him, and chances were that he would then be killed in an encounter because he would resist and quote unquote killed in an encounter. However, somebody told Brijesh Singh about this. So once he was forewarned, he got in touch with Delhi police and he made a deal with Delhi police and got himself arrested. So UP police could not come in and maybe put him away in an encounter. Since then, he was in jail. Again, stories came out that while he was in jail, he took out a contract, or allegedly took out a contract, or took out a supari as it's called, on Mukhtar Ansari of 6 crore rupees. Now, the person who was allegedly given that supari was a man called Lambu Sharma. He was to carry out the hit on Mukhtar Ansari, but it so happened that he got caught, he got arrested in another case. That was the famous or infamous AR Court bombing in Bihar. I won't have the time to tell you about this right now. Somebody will make a movie and put all this together. So because he was caught in that AR Court bombing, in his interrogation, he mentioned that he was carrying this contract or this supari for killing Mukhtar Ansari, at which point Samajwadi Party government in the state, in Uttar Pradesh, doubled the security of Mukhtar Ansari. Now, 2012, Brijesh Singh contested from Syed Raja constituency in Chandauli district, but he lost. He lost, but in 2016, from jail in Shahjahanpur, he contested for MLC, Member of Legislative Council, and got elected. So he was a Manya Sadasya of Legislative Council from 16 onwards. And now he may not be a member of the Legislative Council, but his wife Annapurna Singh recently got elected for the Legislative Council from Varanasi. In fact, in the entire Varanasi zone, BJP won 30 out of 33 seats. They lost only 3. One of those was to his wife, who won as an independent, as he had won. And see her interviews. After winning, she was asked which party does she support, and she said, as long as BJP is helpful to us, we will be with BJP. Brijesh Singh, alias Arun Singh, as he came out of jail, released on bail, he was also interviewed by local media. You can find these clips on YouTube and on internet. You can Google it. I might share a couple of links also with you. And he was asked, which leader do you really admire? And his first answer is Subhash Chandra Bose. Then the reporter asks him, "No, Vartman ka bataiye." So tell me a leader who's around. And then he says, "Aaj ke din to Modi ji hai." Now the problem with these stories is, challenge with these stories is, and these lives, because these lives are so colorful and so eventful that if you start telling them in detail, you don't know where to stop. So I think I should stop it for now, and I should bring this series to a conclusion for now. But I will mention one thing in the passing, because 1990, because apparently before he reached Mumbai and tied in with Dawood Ibrahim, he actually got to Dhanbad, because that was the mafia land, and that is the story you saw in Gangs of Wasipur. So Dhanbad, he went and he joined the gang of Surah Dev Singhs. Surah Dev Singh was the reigning Badshah of the coal industry at that point, as what is called as Koilachal, the coal belt in Jharkhand. So Surah Dev Singh was the don at that point. He joined his group, and later Surah Dev Singh's son Rajiv Ranjan Singh was kidnapped and disappeared without a trace. Initially, he was named, Brijesh Singh was named to be among the 6 people who were responsible for his kidnapping and disappearance, but his name apparently was later taken off. That story is also something that I visited on a travel through Jharkhand, writing my series Writings on the Wall. I will share a link with you. And I did meet Surah Dev Singh's son, Sanjeev, who now had the BJP ticket from there, and his nephew Neeraj, who had the Congress ticket there, because every party loves mafiosi, right? And what is the story of Surah Dev Singh? After he died, his son took over, his older son Rajiv Ranjan Singh. Then he suddenly disappeared. He suddenly disappeared without a trace. And then his wife took over, and under her charge, the younger son Sanjeev was given charge of the business. Sanjeev it was, who was the BJP's candidate, and I met him, and in this article, he's quoted, and he argues in that article that they were never in mafia activity. They were actually good people who got people quick justice that the system denied them. And then, as the tradition goes in many of these areas, the younger brother who inherited the business was made to marry the widow of the older brother who already had a 10-year-old child. Now, what happened to the leader of the gang that had kidnapped Rajiv Ranjan Singh? It looks like, or at least that is the story, or that is the case in police records, that the kidnapper was killed by Surah Dev Singh's brother-in-law, whose name was, you know what? Hold your breath. His name was Ramadhi Singh. Remember the character in Gangs of Wasipur played by Tigmanshu Dhulia? Although Tigmanshu Dhulia's character is really Surah Dev Singh's character, but in real life, the real character called Ramadhi Singh was Surah Dev Singh's brother-in-law, who took revenge for his brother-in-law's son's disappearance, and obviously it looks like murder because the son never surfaced after that. When I mentioned to you that just as this rivalry in eastern UP was building up between Sahib Singh gang and Majnu Singh gang, and then the Ansari gang and the Brijesh gang, at the same time, there was a big rivalry in Mumbai between Dawood Ibrahim and Arun Gavli. And you've seen how on Dawood's behalf, Brijesh Singh and another person, allegedly, went into JJ hospital and killed the killer of Dawood Ibrahim's brother-in-law. Just to tell you a personal story, I did meet Dawood Ibrahim shortly after the blasts in Bombay. My colleague then, Sheila Bhatt, edited the Gujarati edition of India Today. She set up the meeting. I went to Dubai and met him. Of course, he was not willing to give a formal interview, but he said many things, and some of those were mentioned in my India Today story at that time. And I was getting up and leaving. He said, देखो भाई, किसी को बताना मत कि मुझसे इंटरव्यू करके आए हो. मैंने कहा ठीक है, आपने बोला ऑफ द रिकॉर्ड है तो ऑफ द रिकॉर्ड रहेगा. He said, उसको ऐसे रहने देना, और जब इंटरव्यू के लिए आप आएंगे तब हम आपका ध्यान रखेंगे. I'll look after you. We will be received at the airport, at the aircraft itself, and you will be taken around by us, and we'll even give you money for shopping. And I said, that is not needed. Just speak with me on the record. He said, that I will do in future. This is again something I've reported in one of my columns. And he said, देखना भाई, वापस जाके किसी को बोलना नहीं मुझसे मिले हो. So don't go back and tell people that you've met me and had a conversation with me. And then as I was leaving, he said, देखना अच्छा नहीं होगा. At which point I thought temperature fell to -30 degrees. So that was one conversation. Unfortunately, that's not on the record and that's not on camera. The other conversation, the other combatant in that case, Arun Gavli, he featured on a Walk the Talk episode. I'm sharing a link of that episode with you in his Chinchpokli area in Mumbai, which he used to lord over. His daughter has been an MLA now, and I'm also sharing a picture of 2 from that episode of Walk the Talk for you to see on your screens.